How's it going?
Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are your hosts, Chase and Myles, and we are at the Lucky Duck. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Jonathan, our friend from Colorado. Hi, Jonathan.
How's it going?
Pretty well.
Friend from college, too.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, all the way back from Tallahassee, Florida State.
That, what was it?
We all built a multi-million-dollar application that's
Right.
not used and
About,
didn't
yeah.
make any money.
Yeah. And you see a bunch of companies that actually like do what we built.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the Winklevi twins of reselling your hotel reservations.
Yeah. We were basically like the original booking.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
But no one knows about us.
Yeah, they do now. Myles, what are we drinking?
We're having some spicy margaritas with habanero spicy, not jalapeno.
Yeah, they were all out. Apparently, there's a massive shortage of jalapenos in Colorado.
So
for
the
some reason.
COVID-19 crisis really has
Interesting.
been affecting the farmers.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that, but my lips are on fire right now, and I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy.
Mine are not.
Jonathan's already out. You need a refill?
Well, that's why I didn't do spicy, because then I can just have more of them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll have to get you another one. Yeah, it is the couple weekends after Labor Day here. This will probably be released, I'm assuming, I don't know, couple months from now.
Yeah.
We're going to stagger them out. But you are the official fourth guest of the podcast.
Whoa.
How does that make you feel? Please tell us.
I mean, kind of honored. I feel like that's a significant number.
It is.
4. It's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even.
It's even. Multiples of 4 is a very good interval to assess quantities at.
We're pretty experienced at this point, so
Yeah.
I mean, if you were on like the first one, it wouldn't have been any good.
Exactly.
So don't listen to the first 3, by the way.
Yeah, they're probably trash. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably 2 people.
I think
will
it's
listen
important
to
for
it.
posterity, though.
Yeah, that's
Just to
good.
publish them.
Yeah, just to get
Let
them
people
out.
know where you came
No,
from.
they were actually really good.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
very
That's awesome.
captivating. Yeah. This one's
No, they
not
were-
going to be captivating whatsoever.
Interesting people. So.
It was, yeah.
But this one is going to be amazing as well.
Well, I'm excited.
Congratulations. So, Jonathan, tell the lovely people of the interwebs what you do here
Oh,
in
yeah.
Colorado.
I work for a it's really hard to kind of put into words what it is, because we do a lot, but we're basically a research consultancy for utilities and like energy companies.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm part of their software development team. I'm one of one of 2 UI designers on the team, so it's user interface for people who don't know the lingo.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing that?
God, 8-ish years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long have you been with this company?
Oh, like not even a year yet. I got hired
Almost.
in December
Nice.
of last year.
Yeah.
What did they give you for your 1 year?
I have no idea.
A
hand
pen.
job, probably.
Yeah,
A new
probably.
keyboard.
We always get for any like, I don't know, special launch at work, we get Patagonia vests.
Ooh,
Which
nice.
I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they leave the
Patagonia.
price tags on them too. I was like,
Patagonia
oh,
makes-
thank you for letting me know that you spent like $145
Yeah.
on custom embroidery. Patagonia.
Patagonia must be raking in the dough with corporations, because
Right.
that every single, like, even my wife got a Patagonia like sweatshirt the other
Colorado
day.
thing, I feel
yeah,
like.
it's just like,
Yeah.
here.
If you have a
here's,
Colorado branch,
Yeah.
It's a big corporate thing.
they're giving.
They make a lot of
Yeah.
money off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about this before.
Myles, can we get a Patagonia sponsorship?
We
Lucky
can.
duck.
Everybody
not.
that comes
Patagonias.
on the podcast will get one
That's right.
free Patagonia coupon, 10% off
Coupon.
Yeah.
if you spend $350 or more.
We just get it off of coupons.com.
Please go to patagonia.com/@the-lucky-duck. Put in our code.
at the lucky at the /.
Don't do that. They might cease and desist.
Yeah, I
This
think we're gonna
episode.
have to delete this part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Mhm. I like Patagonia. It's nice.
It's fine.
It's basic,
yeah.
basic
It's-
bitch
it's not my
clothing,
style,
almost. But
Don't think I've actually worn any of the clothing. I heard it's good quality. though.
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you don't
And
like the
they're a
style.
good company too.
yeah,
But yeah, I wouldn't say it's my
I
style.
like their logo. It's
Yeah,
got,
it's
like
good.
vintage.
It's good.
Doesn't seem like
It's just for me.
changed.
There's not enough black.
When was Patagonia? Let's look this up.
Yeah.
When was Patagonia? I can't talk today, which is ironic because we're doing a thing where we just talk. When was it founded?
So
know.
Patagonia is a mountain range, right? In
Yeah,
Chile,
Southern
Argentina,
America.
Somewhere in South America.
Yeah. Sarah and I want to hike it one day.
Oh yeah.
Wearing our Patagonia outfits.
Yeah, if you go, that's a must. They won't let you in.
Without a Patagonia jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1973. So it's 47 years old.
So, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
long.
it's been around.
I think I've heard some history on this. I think I was listening to some like founded podcast and they talked about Patagonia, but I think it's a pretty good company overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll like repair clothes and they do a lot of recycling and like sustainability work, so they're good.
They're a
Good
private
company.
benefit corporation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fires going on right now in the United States.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard. A lot very smoky out.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys had any problem like being outdoors and
Yeah, I mean
being raspy voiced?
I haven't been outside much since they've started because we were like in a cadence of like going hiking at least like once or twice a week maybe.
Yeah.
Until the fire started and we're like, well, I don't want to like go out when the air quality sucks.
Yeah.
Where are you usually hiking at? Just anywhere.
Yeah, we try and do like a new trail like every time we go out. So
Yeah. What
go all over the
like
place.
region of Denver are you? South, east, west, north?
West. So
West.
like
Yeah,
west.
Can you
West
give
Denver.
everybody your address, please?
Yeah.
Sure.
For all of our
7.
listeners.
Yeah. So you're actually probably seeing it's probably a bit more hazy out than it is like around where we're at.
Yeah, in Lakewood, it's pretty bad.
I heard that. I've witnessed that the more north you go, the like kind of worse it looks. I don't know if you've.
Yeah,
experienced
I
that.
haven't.
Like I drove up
traveled
the airport and it was pretty bad up there.
Coming here is the farthest I've traveled in a while.
That's that pandemic.
We went over to like kind of, I think it's Deer something Park. It's kind of like near Roxborough, that area.
Yeah.
And it's like interesting when you're looking at the mountains on the way there. It looks really smoky, but as you get closer, it doesn't change in the area that you're at. It's like it doesn't look smokier around you when you're getting closer to it, but when you're looking at the mountains, it does.
Right. And I mean, what's so funny is that like the first time I was like, I want like an N95 mask. I want to get one like fitted because this is like something that you would need when the air quality is like this.
Yeah.
Because that's actually going to like filter out like pollutants that you would inhale. Where like a cloth mask is just for like not transferring
I don't know, bro.
disease.
I freaking like it. It's like vaping when you're outside 100% of the time.
It gets me so high.
Actually, I was coming home from work and I was like singing in the car, like along to my tunes.
Yeah.
And I think I got through like one song and my voice was just shot.
Fucked. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was so fucked. But I heard that a fire, and this may not be true, but I heard a fire was started by a gender reveal party in California.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What?
Yeah.
Why did they have a fire?
And one firefighter already died. It's like because
like from
the
that
I
fire.
probably should start this camera. Sorry, people.
Oh God.
The Jonathan cam has not been turned on. Like I said, we probably won't even use that footage. But
that's cool.
I really
now it's
wouldn't.
making
I mean,
it's probably your
it's
most
such a
flattering
beautiful
angle,
face.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was thinking, how many people have to die for you to show off your fucking baby's gender?
Right.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
Maybe.
I don't know. I've always had beef with gender reveal parties.
Yeah.
It's just a good opportunity to throw a party, get people drunk, and then your racist uncle shows up and he starts ranting about like gender dysphoria, like politics, and he's like,
Oh, God.
we need this, never.
Well, then, and that's why, like, I don't know. I think it's like kind of weirdly, I feel like it's a rather like new thing to do, to have like a recent thing.
Yeah.
But it already like feels antiquated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
I don't know.
It's
I think it should be called like our lives are about to get super hard and boring party, because that's essentially what happens.
When you
No
have
offense
kids,
to all
yeah.
you people out there
With kids.
that I just offended.
No offense, parents.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think it's a really like wise decision.
To have kids or to have a gender reveal party.
Both.
on both fronts.
Is that because you don't know the gender, or is it because you think it's just a dumb idea?
I mean, I think it's like a dumb idea.
Yeah.
Because at best, you're actually no, it's all bad. You're just setting yourself up with like all these expectations.
Yeah, true.
When you could just like let the kid be born and then just accept it for whatever the fuck it is.
Experience it. Not start fires.
Yeah. and you won't start fires.
Yeah,
that way.
it's true.
From now on, since it started a fire, they now have to put into the curriculum of the party, like fire safety or something like that.
True.
The fire party.
Bring your,
What the fuck
mask.
happened at this party that it caused an entire wildfire is what I want to know. Like, these gender reveals are getting so
Probably a candle.
I have
extravagant.
one theory. Maybe it was like these were like quasi-racist, like white people that got like a Polynesian baby or something. Maybe it was like an
Interesting.
adopted.
Mm-hmm.
They had fire dancers.
Oh.
fire
Things
dancers.
got
Ooh,
out of
I see the
hand.
connection.
Because they were trying to have like a themed
So like
party,
a racist
thinking like
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
I
like
got it.
we're gonna support our babies' culture.
Ethnicity and culture. Is
Yeah.
it? I guess
It's like
it's
I'm not
more
gonna fucking
mostly
remember this
culture.
party. It's not even
Yeah.
born yet.
Yeah, it does not care about any of this.
This isn't.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. It's like it's like for the kid. I was like, but it's not at all because it
No.
doesn't
Oh,
exist yet.
100%. It's
Yeah.
for the
To get people
parents.
together to give
Half the
The
gifts.
time,
last
one of
time
the
they can
parents
like
is
drink for like the next like,
Yeah,
2
exactly.
years
Yeah.
socially.
Yeah.
Celebrating. Well, the man can drink, but I
Mhm.
guess, but
The woman is not supposed to drink.
yeah, it's.
I always see these. I follow Trashy on the subreddit Trashy.
That's a good
and,
one.
I see like pregnant moms chain smoking on there.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Ooh, nice.
Gin-
I mean, but you think
tonics.
about like back when like commercialized cigarettes were like the thing, and they were saying like, oh, it's like there are no adverse side effects for like using this product. You'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
And like moms just like chain smoking like while pregnant, and like a lot of these people are like successful adults now. Like they didn't have like complications or whatever, but
Sure.
still like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like you're some people will be fine, and then other people it's just like there's a reason we tell you don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like you can get cancer from smoking cigarettes,
Yeah.
but you could also not get it.
Yeah, and you'll get cancer anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. From like being outside when the air is too polluted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Living in LA.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Do they have a fire ban in California too? It must, right?
I
They
would assume
should.
all
What-
year long.
I-
There's just one.
Should be
long
no
fire ban.
candles, no
Yeah.
flamethrowers.
Yep.
Nothing.
That's
Wait,
my
did the
thing.
Colorado fire ban like?
We have fire
Extinguish?
bans all the time though.
We do, but this one was like a statewide. Like I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah,
even
like,
go out
no.
onto my
Yeah.
patio and
You
do
have
a
like
fire out there.
and you have like signs that say like no shooting. You can't even hunt.
Oh,
Really?
Shit.
Yeah.
Because of the
Yeah, hot shells.
Yeah, hot shells.
Ah,
I mean, I guess you could bow hunt,
interesting.
which would be
What
Cool, I
if
guess.
you're so good that you're just you shoot and then catch it?
yeah. From
Oh,
my
you have a
favorite
net?
movie, Wanted.
That's
So, you and I went to the shooting range.
That's right.
Yeah.
where at?
That was fun.
Centennial off of Arapahoe.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it was a
How was
pretty
it?
nice
Yeah.
place. Pretty knowledgeable. They had like a little gunsmith like shop
Yeah,
there too.
you fixed that old single action that I inherited from my dad.
Yeah.
What'd you guys shoot there?
I have this like older Super Colt that my dad passed down to me. It's like a
It was pretty
380.
gnarly looking.
It's small. It's like not even like 9mm.
Hmm.
It's and then my 12 gauge shotgun. I
Oh,
like
nice.
to just shoot it every now and again just to like remember what it feels like.
Yeah.
It was so
nice.
it felt weird because we had like the typical bad guy paper. So when you show up to the
Oh,
gun
yeah,
range,
yeah.
they're like
Osama bin Laden, right?
yeah. So
it's always
have,
like super.
Yeah.
yeah. They had like zombies. It's Hillary Clinton.
It's always Islamic terrorists.
Yeah, terrorists,
Like, Jesus.
bad, just general bad guys, and
It's
you
good
could
stuff.
You post them up, and they pull them out, and that's what you shoot.
Yeah.
And then we pulled out the 12 gauge. It was just like
Yeah.
that thing had no. Like,
Well, I have like that blunderbuss grip on it too.
yeah,
So it's not even like the.
It was badass.
What is it? The shoulder stock.
Mm-hmm.
Because you use that for hunting, but like for home defense, I'm like I just want to like pick this thing up and just like shoot it down the hallway.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Can you
it's
shoot it like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's I mean you kind of like shoot it like sort of like just below chest level because it will kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the difference between that and a pistol grip is that the pistol grip will you'll absorb all the shock, like all the impact from the discharged shell, right into your wrist, and it's I I remember after like the second time I took that thing shooting with a pistol grip, I was like, this is painful.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like wrecked after just like shooting this thing for like
Yeah,
a good
nice.
hour.
We did that. Sarah and I went shooting once. I've only gone shooting one time. It was in Tallahassee, actually,
Oh, okay.
a while ago. And I did some kind of shotgun. I don't remember what it was. It was fun. It was a good time. But
Yeah.
I'm cool with just doing it there. Like, just go to the
It's
gun range, shoot there. It's kind of fun, but it's so, you can feel the power of the gun. It's kind of scary a little bit.
It is.
But
It's,
it's fun.
There's something with like having that much power at your disposal. It's very intimidating.
It is. It's because like
and humbling too.
You then realize like how much responsibility you have just by like even like holding this thing.
Yeah.
Because like holding it is dangerous.
Yeah. Even when it's like not loaded, you can still take it and whack somebody over the head with it, or throw it at somebody. Very heavy, very
Like you can
efficient
with a
at knocking
pot,
people out.
But like I at a local shooting range in Lakewood, I did a CCW class, concealed license. Yeah, I passed it fine and like can go down to the sheriff's office. I think it might have expired. I might need to take it again, and like go get it. But this particular gun range, they have like a certified instructor like come in and like sort of teach you about like the legality of like having it and situations that you'll be in. So like not only was she versed in like actually how to conduct yourself when using a firearm, but also like the legal implications of like what will likely happen if you even use it. And I was like, I'm like, I'm not gonna go for this, because it's like pretty much the goal is to like never draw your weapon, because once you do, you probably have to shoot it.
Yeah.
And then you have to live with the fact that like, you're probably gonna like take someone's life, if not like, severely injure them. And the part where I was like, nope, definitely not, is that no matter how justified you are in the situation, you will be slapped with a civil suit.
Yeah, sure.
So like, not only like making that decision is gonna like alter your life forever, but like financially too, because like you're gonna get sued. No
That's
matter,
interesting.
Yeah, like pretty much like no matter
for
what.
your lawyer, and then all
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So I was just like, no.
Well, the other thing is,
take my chances.
I have a friend who has talked about this once, where he's never wanted his wife to have a gun because with her personality, he doesn't think that she would ever actually use it. And I think it's probably worse to have a gun and not use it when you would need to, than to like not have one in that situation, because then somebody else will use it on you. You know?
Right. They'll just take it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, same. And it's like, I'd rather like just try and fist fight you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's more preferred method.
Yeah.
Less lawsuits. Still lawsuits.
Less
Probably.
Less financially
Only if there's cameras
draining
involved.
lawsuits.
Right.
Is Colorado an open carry state?
I don't think
I'll
so.
Google that. I don't think so either.
No.
I think like
Really?
Texas is, though. What are the open carry states?
Yeah.
Well, open carry for some people.
Yeah.
Florida is, right?
What?
Florida is, right?
I think
Yeah.
I've only seen like one guy walk around old Western sheriff style with a gun on his hip. Like, yes, we all know you're a badass.
The gun
Thank
is an
you.
accessory to the holster.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can't just walk around with an empty holster.
So there's not like, it's not just cut and dry. Like you
Of
can
course.
have one or not. Like it depends. Like some people, some you can just have it. Some you have to be licensed. But it's like the typical states that you would think, like Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas. So Delaware actually is kind of surprising there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see. Colorado, I see this is permissive with local restrictions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like
So, no.
no.
So open carry without a license permitted statewide, except in the city and county of Denver, where open carry is completely prohibited. So you actually can without a
not
license
in
in the
Denver.
entire state.
Oh,
Wow.
you
Except
just walk
Denver.
around with a gun on your hip.
Yeah,
Yeehaw,
it's cool.
motherfucker.
Probably like an automatic weapon too.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those YouTube videos where there's like this kid who's just carrying a machine gun like around the streets, and the cop's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I can have it." So
So, yeah.
cool. You're scaring people.
I was
Yeah.
looking at buying like a Glock. I don't know how many months ago, like 6 months ago or something like that. And I was at home, and I was talking to one of my parents' friends who's like a
They're
gun
expensive.
enthusiast, and he was like, "Yeah, you could do that, or like you could just order all the parts on eBay or one of those sites and just put it all together yourself."
That's some QAnon shit.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
that was the
Wow.
first time I'd ever like heard that you could get
Oh, yeah.
around the
Oh, yeah.
background checks just by buying the different parts.
That's great.
It's kind of fucked.
Or you can print it.
Yeah, or yeah, I guess you can
Mhm.
print it, and then it's good for like one
that was-
fire, and then it blows the whole gun
Yeah.
to pieces.
Kills you.
Yeah, what I forget who it was. It was like a he had like no credentials. He was like, I'm a law student. I'm like, gives a shit.
Yeah.
And he came out with this. It's called like the Liberator or something like that. It's like a 3D printed like revolver that he was like releasing all over the place.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's safe. Don't do that.
Yeah, I've heard of people getting in trouble for doing that.
I mean, yeah, because you're essentially like, creating like a black market weapon that like can't be traced.
Yeah,
So that's problematic. It's kind of like, I mean, it's. I guess that would be like a weird thing to compare, but it's kind of like you can't have nukes in your backyard, man.
Sure.
but you could buy
Depends
all
what
the
state you live
separate
in.
parts of the nukes and build it yourself. Totally
Texas.
legal.
Actually, can you buy uranium, plutonium, radioactive
Probably on,
material?
like Silk Road or something.
I think you'd have to buy it in the black market.
That's a major red flag. It's one thing to buy like Molly off of Silk Road, but once you buy
Yeah. You're like, I'm creating
plutonium.
nuclear energy over here,
God,
people.
that'll trigger a couple of flags.
Powering your pool's water heater or
Yeah,
something.
so I just need a renewable or a sustainable source of
Uranium.
iPhone charging.
You could say you're starting a new company, like nuclear cars or something.
Nuclear fission cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds
that would-
safe.
Not at all.
Maybe that's outlawed too.
We're gonna be That was for a large part of the Cold War. That was like the fear was like
Mhm.
there would be like nuclear power was the next big thing,
Right.
And they were going to build like cars that were running on like it's kind of like
Yeah.
Fallout kind of style, like that video
Mhm.
game where everything is literally like even the vending machines are
Everything's
powered.
radioactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you shoot a vending machine and a nuke goes off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually an interesting topic because I work for an international company, so I
Mhm.
have some coworkers in like Germany, Finland, etc. And in Germany, they actually just passed some regulations where they're getting rid of all nuclear energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what they're planning to replace it with.
Probably thorium or something like that.
Probably what?
Thorium.
Thorium.
What the
Mm.
fuck is that?
Think that's what it is. It's like it kind of what is it? Nuclear energy has like such a long like half life to actually like get rid of the waste. It takes like hundreds of maybe thousands of years. Where like I think it's like thorium kind of solves that problem because it doesn't. You can get rid of it in less time.
Because that's
Yeah.
the problem, right? Like,
Yeah, but it's not like an economically like viable thing to do
Mm.
right now.
okay, too expensive.
But it would be like it would be like the next thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so like the coworkers in Finland think that like nuclear energy is the way to go. And
Yeah,
they
it's
think
very
that-
clean.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
think that that most people are afraid of it because of some of the accidents we've had.
Russia.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Japan, right?
Yeah.
But they think that a lot of those reactors were
Yeah.
built using a lot of old technology, or they just
Right.
were old. And like we have a lot more safety precautions now, so things like that shouldn't happen. And when they do happen, it's kind of like, well, like was it better to have clean energy
Right. You'd have to
for
weigh
that
that.
a whole time and then have the one accident
That
every
risk.
10,000 years or whatever it is
Mhm. Yeah.
that's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
I think there was some like talk about how the United States manages their nuclear waste and where they store it, and a lot of times the way they're storing it and where they're storing it is only effective in terms of like being deemed safe if it's
Mhm.
stored for an X amount of time. I'm not really sure how long that is, but a lot of the storage sites are beyond like the expiration date of
Oh,
like
whoa.
storing them, and so they have no idea what they're going to do with it. and the half-life on it is so incredibly high. It's like
Yeah, that sounds like America.
like we might have a waste
Let's fuck
problem.
We'll
around and
figure it out
Let's fuck
later.
around and find out.
And let's just go ahead and try it. See what happens.
But what's crazy to me is that, we have like a decent amount of data to suggest that like in the southeast of America, we have enough sun, and then I think in the Midwest of America, we have enough wind to like power the entire country.
Plus some geothermal in there too.
Yeah, which
Right.
like we definitely have access to that stuff.
Yeah, I guess is it?
not in the same way that Iceland does, but
Yeah, sure. I think that they're
it's
trying
ridiculous.
to find more efficient ways to not destroy the geothermal activity in the meantime. Like I think I was reading in New Zealand, I think it was, they actually went pretty geothermal and in a kind of careless way and actually ended up destroying the activity
Yeah.
there.
I don't know, like why doesn't anyone like knock on Iceland's door? Because like they're the pros.
Right.
Like they pretty much like don't
Do they power the entire
like
island?
pretty much the entire country.
Wow.
Like I think
Yeah.
like water makes up 75% of their electricity
Yeah.
because like they have so many water.
They probably
wells.
just use like a lot of candles, right? That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. I've heard
No.
people talk about that.
But then the geothermal stuff is like,
Yeah.
that powers a lot. And what's cool is that what it produces is steam, and that's like what turns the turbines to like generate that electric energy.
yeah.
But what's so cool is that they have like a method where they basically like regrow the rocks with the steam or like the excess like hydrogen that's like the runoff essentially, and they regrow like fool's gold and stuff like that.
Right.
Which I'm like, so it's like sustainably, like a endless cycle of we can harvest this forever
Yeah.
until the planet explodes.
And it works, but it would have worked like 100 years ago when the population of the United States wasn't so high. Like we could do that here, but you couldn't do that to power New York City, or you couldn't do that to power like it's like what they're powering is essentially villages in Iceland and not like big populated
Yeah,
areas.
it's not the same like
Sure.
scale, but their
Yeah.
infrastructure I would say is like pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, and
Everything's
a lot of
underground.
people that I've heard talk about it say it works really well. It's sustainable. It works in small communities to
Yeah.
power those grids, but it wouldn't be applicable to big cities. And they're like, well, how do you think they should deal with that? They're like, not have big cities, and it's like, well, that's
That would be
No,
nice.
I mean, we definitely like have the resources to do it, and the other thing too, right, is that another compounding factor is like we're talking about population, right? Americans don't replicate themselves anymore. Like our like once a nation reaches a certain level of prosperity, their population starts to decline because they're having kids later in life, smaller families, or not having kids at all, because educated people know that you don't need to have children to have a full life.
also the deterioration of religion and the
Yeah.
nuclear family. I mean, that was a large part of why you got married, was to raise a family.
Raising a family for
yeah.
money. It's more of like a
Yeah.
business contract than it is a relational contract.
I've been watching this show called Raised by Wolves. I don't know if you guys heard
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah, well, it's like
mentioned this.
it's
before.
I watched a
Prometheus.
trailer on that last night, actually.
Nice. What did you think about
it looks good.
it? Yeah,
I might watch
So-
it.
Oh, I know who mentioned that to
Yeah.
me. My barber. That's
barber.
right. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I don't have those kinds of relationships.
Yeah, I don't have a barber. Like, get anyone
Essentially,
each time.
it takes place in the Alien, like the Alien movies.
Oh, cool.
So it takes
it's
place
the
in
same
that.
universe.
Yeah. So like Prometheus and those movies, like Ridley Scott is the executive producer on
Very
it. So
cool. Oh, fuck.
so they essentially
He should have led with that when he was telling me
know.
about this. He's like, "It's good," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, you tell me everything is good." You
That's
gotta,
true.
Gotta give
Yeah.
me some credentials here.
yeah, essentially it's like in that universe, it's the religious people versus the atheists, and they
Sounds like that
they
South Park
both
episode.
were I don't know, right? And they both were fighting with these AI like sapien people, and they turned on everybody, and so they had to flee Earth from the AI and go on this ark and fly in space to the nearest habitable planet, and they all get like go into cryo sleep, and like 10 years later they land on this planet.
That reminds me of fuck what it's like a B sci-fi movie. fuck, what is the name?
Borat?
No, no, but it's similar to that where Pandorum. That's what it was. Yeah, it's like with like a very like weird international cast, but it's good. But it's like similar to that where like this like ship that's like basically sent out into space to like this super Earth that we found that we're like, oh, okay, like we need to move a first run of humanity out there, and it was like a really large ship where they cryo sleep all these people and like sort of pump them with like these, I don't know, it seemed like experimental like nutrients and like growth stimulants so that they'll like be, because it'll take hundreds of years for them to get there. So like number one, that like they're not like dying while trying to get out there, and then by the time that they get there, the drugs that they've been being fed for hundreds of years will like kickstart their evolution. So like by the time they get there, they'll be able to like survive in the environment.
It's interesting.
But it's basically like how something like that could go terribly wrong, and I won't like spoil the big twist about it. But it's just basically like one of the flight crews was just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna start waking people up and start killing people.
Yeah.
And basically like lets people out and then just like lets them like fend for themselves or whatever, and they basically like evolved to the ship. So they're like these crazy like feral cannibals that just like live in the reactor of the ship.
Nice.
And it's about like whether or not like are we even gonna like make it to this planet, like can we survive, and it's just like the next crew that wakes up, it's about like them dealing with that situation. And I'm like, that sounds terrifying, because it's like that's like a one-way trip, like you're not coming back.
Right.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk says the people that will be inhabiting Mars will die on Mars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way you're
Because they can't get back.
You can't get back. No,
that'll take several.
Also, it takes too long.
That'll take several generations for that to happen. Where you're like, oh.
Also, we're not taking into account that we by then people think that we'll be able to leave our flesh suits and digitally download ourselves.
Yeah. And I was about to, and that's funny because maybe we should switch to this to talk about the Neuralink a little bit. Because what you brought up about like AI and stuff like that is, everyone on the Neuralink team, like when they did the big reveal, which is basically just like a big ad for like come work for Neuralink because we need hundreds of people to get this thing going. That every like chief officer on the team or every lead on that team was like, they had a wish list of like, what they would like to see the Neuralink eventually do. And Elon Musk was just basically, he was sort of like towards the end of the line of like people to say like, what would you want this thing to do? He's like, well, these are all like really great things. And he's like, and I'm sure it'll do all these things eventually. He's like, but the main reason why I want to make this thing is because like we're on the horizon of like an existential crisis as a species, where we need a way to have advanced AI symbiosis, where it's like we need some way to like augment our brains to keep up with our creations, essentially, is like in so many words is what he said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what you were just talking about, where it's like, yeah, that sort of stuff could like overtake us. It's like, well, if we develop it right, it won't.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I don't know.
And also,
I still
do
don't
we-
think that. I think it will become way smarter, way faster.
Well, it's like that's like the last machine, right? Like once
Yeah.
you make a machine that can make a better version of itself, it's over.
Yeah.
Like your job is done.
Yeah.
Kick back and hope it doesn't kill you.
Kick back and become useless because
Yeah.
now you're just going to be
Well,
fed
what you would
with
hope
grapes.
is that like you would become this thing's cat, right?
Yeah. Right.
You
Yeah.
just hope it likes you,
A lot of
wants
these.
you to be its pet, and will take care of you.
A lot of these.
Hopefully it fucks you from time to time.
That's,
Excellent.
Yeah.
a lot of these ideas from like that have been in movies and TV shows didn't really seem that realistic up until pretty recently when they started having a lot of advances in machine learning and AI. It's really I would say like it's really, I have a lot of anxiety about it. I think it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
it's
mean,
but
of course.
At the same
It is
time, I
terrifying.
mean, it's like we do the best we can, like build what we can the best way we can, and then like if we all die, then we all die.
I mean,
What happens?
it's like pretty amazing. Like if you want to like simplify like existence as we know it, it's like carbon was like formed at some point, and then now it talks.
Yeah.
Now carbon's talking.
Sure.
Like that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
what it is.
it's crazy. I mean, I'm thinking about like AI. Just if we have something that works and it's cleaning our dish. What happens when it malfunctions and it's like
That's like us
Now choking
malfunctioning
you.
too,
Yeah.
right? Like a
Mental breakdown.
psychopath or a serial killer,
Right.
whatever. Like someone who just snaps down of it, whatever.
Well, and I feel like the other big thing too is like security, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like if it's connected to the internet, it's not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's anything can be hacked, no matter how
Yeah.
good your security is. It's like if it can be unlocked, it's possible to unlock it forcibly.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Much like God, like we'll be creating these things in our image, right? And so when we program
Right.
it, we're programming it to be somewhat familiar to
Well,
what
then
we
probably
understand as
then
being
is like
human.
what would happen is then we complete the loop to the simulation.
Yeah.
Right. That's what'll happen once we create something like that. Then
Like,
it's like,
we'll-
oh, now we're
yeah.
God, right? Like now we're because like the thing that's like so fucked, right? Is like what is really the difference between like artificial intelligence that like has feelings
Yeah.
and like has ideas, is creative, and us.
Right.
There's no
Because
diff-
we're
yeah.
both made from the earth, right?
Yeah.
With
It's
the same
thing.
elements.
Yeah.
Not the same element. Yeah,
Well,
the same elements. I
Okay,
guess.
so here's this really creepy. I think it's like a statistical model called Benford's Law. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's basically like everything in our universe, for the most part, like fits into this thing. So it's like
It's a theory of everything or something.
it's more of like digits, right? So if the theorem is basically like if you take any random collection of data of numbers and you take the first digit of it, so if it's like 1 million, that first digit would be 1, right? In any random collection of data, you will always have what is it, like 32% or like 30% of them will be ones, 17% of them will be twos, and then it goes down in like this beautiful descending curve where like obviously the least amount of numbers would be a 9. And it was like, well, you know, it doesn't work on everything obviously, because it's like if you take it with things that like aren't using all 9 digits, you'll have an incomplete data set, so like it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But essentially like tax, like the IRS and stuff like that, like use it to see if you're cheating.
Huh.
Like because if you put like Enron like through that, it's like obvious by like looking at the curve. They're like, oh yeah, like they did it here.
Oh.
They because they
Manipulation
were
of
they were
data.
like going for like aesthetically pleasing numbers, because they were going, you know, they were like hitting each barrier like 20 million in revenue, 40 million in revenue, 60 million in revenue, 100 million, where it's like, yeah, that doesn't fit the curve, because and it's like, okay, so it's like, so what you're telling me is that all of these like very personal choices that I make and actions that I take in life fit this mathematical formula.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of explaining or not predicting, but analyzing like chaos. In a
Well,
way.
yeah, and
then-
that like there isn't any chaos. It is ordered.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the reason why all these things fit is because we're made from it. But what's even crazier is that it's not even just like our planet and like us in general. It's like the distance between stars and shit like that fit like this thing. So it's like, all right, so like maybe this is just like how the universe works.
Yeah.
Or it's
There's a couple of fascinating like theory of everything hypothesis.
Well, and we're really
theories.
starting to study that kind of stuff now, because like we're finding that like our planet is like so interconnected with really complex systems. Like the dust from the Sahara fertilizes the rainforest across the world.
Yeah.
Like in South America and stuff like that. And actually the Amazon probably wouldn't exist as it does if it didn't have that Saharan dust, because the soil in the Amazon sucks because it's constantly being eroded by water. So it's just getting enough nutrients from that
Yeah.
to have it flushed out.
Yeah,
and
that's
then-
interesting.
And then get more of it. So it's like, yeah, now that we're just starting to study this type of stuff, it's
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
It's kind of like when we talk about the importance of protecting the rainforest, or
Right.
just like one type of animal, like bears or something. Like something going extinct can really make whole lot of chaos.
Yeah, like the butterfly effect.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, it's because it's, you know, it's a really delicate system, right? Like a 2-degree change kills an entire species.
Yeah,
you
or
know?
like a 2-degree change in temperature each year.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Yeah,
or a
every
half
year
degree,
is
whatever, you know.
yeah, that's even worse.
Mm.
And you know, there's stuff that we can like do about it. It's just that like really 4 countries have to Like the Paris Accord
climate
is
change?
The Paris Accord is like cute and all, but like
Is it the U.S., China, and
we're not in
India.
it anymore. Remember?
No. I mean,
Oh,
four
yeah.
countries you're saying.
Oh yeah, America,
Yeah.
China,
India.
Russia, and India.
Yeah.
Those are the
Oh,
four that
Russia?
would have to
Really?
like. Yeah, I mean they're huge. Yeah, they're a huge
Yeah.
economy.
Yeah.
So like all four of those countries would have to like get to Iceland's level for us to actually like do anything.
Yeah.
So it would require like really radical.
So should I just stop
Change.
recycling now?
No, absolutely not.
Just a joke.
No, I know.
It was so funny. I ended. I had been recycling for years. I think I've told you guys this before, but at my job, and I have two bins under my desk. It's like one for recycling, one for trash. And I remember the first time I was like staying late, and I had the janitor guy come around, really nice guy. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I hand him both bins, and he has like headphones in, he's doing his thing, he's strolling, and then he takes both bins and he throws them both in the same trash, and
That's
then he
great.
hands them back to me, and I'm grabbing that, and I'm like thinking to myself, I've been
What
doing
the
this for
fuck?
3
Hate my
years,
life.
and it didn't matter.
It's like finding out like Soylent Green is people.
Yeah.
It's like what the fuck?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean
it's
it's
nasty.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, they try.
Cause,
I
well,
guess.
and what's fucked is though, right? Is that, but the thing that I don't agree with is that, the onus is like on the consumer, right, to make
yeah.
sustainable choices. No, fuck you. Like the that's the corporation's job, and that's like that's like how they used to teach business in schools before Milton Friedman happened. And like Wolf of Wall Street, like no, fuck you. Like the only like responsibility that a CEO has to a company is to make it money.
Right.
Yeah.
When like what those economists grew up with, like that kind of education was more of like thinking of like a mini president. It's like you have to make a product and like run a business that's like good, like first of all good for society as like a whole, pay workers fair wages, like all this stuff that like kind of there was a big paradigm shift that happened in like the 80s and 90s where like that kind of thinking went away. I mean, there's sort of like a resurgence of it, but it's at a really small scale. You have like, you don't really have giant companies like making those sort of steps.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you can kind of relate this to like insurance. Like insurance pays for you to go get cleanings and see the get a physical, whatever, because it's preventative medicine, so that you'll be healthier. It'll cost them less. It's kind of the same for a company. Like if you
Invest in your people.
yeah, whatever.
You won't have to rehire.
Yeah.
You won't have to.
You're not splitting classes and making less and less people be able to pay for your product, and which
Exactly.
eventually, like, it's just not a sustainable business.
No,
Yeah.
and that was like that's like the trickle down model.
Yeah, like capitalism
which
is
like
weird.
we know doesn't work.
Yeah, capitalism is weird like that because, well,
We have
it's
a model.
assumed-
Like there is
yeah,
a model for
it's
us to go
assumed that
forward
if
in.
that's if the majority of people that are buying your product care about the environment, then it is an incentive to your business to practice sustainable business practices.
Yeah, it's like it's
right?
gonna make you money in the
Yeah,
long run.
exactly.
It's like that's like kind of the nature of like, like the like design work, for example, right? It's like obviously profit is a part of it, but there's a difference between like market research and user research, where like market research is like super like quantitative. It's just like lots of numbers, and you're really looking for trends in behavior. Where user research is more qualitative, and like you're really only looking at like a sample size of like maybe 10. 5 is like sort of the sweet spot where you get like 5 people to like test something and get like feelings, emotions, sentiments of like how the product makes them feel. But the idea is that if you make a product enjoyable and easy to use, that while yes, like the design process is like maybe expensive or like time intensive, but that like you will make money like more sustainably over time than if you what is the mantra in the in like startup tech is like move fast and break stuff, which is fucking stupid.
It is.
So
Like-
stupid. Yeah.
I've been increasingly critical of that. Of like Uber's a great example of that.
Oh, my
Like,
friend works there. Yeah.
yeah, like still doesn't make money, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe they do. I don't even know if they do, but
Yeah.
they basically destroyed like an entire market
Yep.
made it theirs and then still don't make money.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just not, I don't know.
And what's even weirder is that like I feel like Uber is living out this like Machiavellian story with Lyft, where it's like basically like Uber just has more cash than Lyft.
Yeah.
And they're like they permit Lyft to be in the market and just waiting for them to go broke so that they can buy all their shit, and then it'll just be one company.
Yeah, monopoly.
A monopoly, you know, which
Yeah.
our country fucking loves
And
that
our
apparently.
Tech doesn't have monopoly regulations, so it's
No,
cool.
not at all.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, you know, lots of people. I mean, I feel like most people don't even really have an opinion on like the antitrust probes that our government is doing, but like, yeah, like I think our government is like morally corrupt, but that's a really
You
important
don't
thing
say.
because we're kind of like writing those rules as we go along, right? You know,
Yeah.
like how we can collect information, how we can use it, and it's just like basically, you know, it's like, well,
That's
we
what I
don't
think
have
is
rules for it.
hilarious about the TikTok stuff. It's like,
Oh my god.
instead of changing our privacy laws, let's just ban a couple apps.
Yeah, and that's like, you know,
It's
and that's the thing, like any other administration like maybe would have done something like this, but like this is the only administration that would do it like this, where it's
Right.
like, no, we're just gonna like keep fueling this like very like xenophobic sort of like agenda where it's like anything from China like can't be trusted, which is
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like I don't trust their numbers on anything because like, you know, they're not like really reporting what's going on over there. But like every giant developed country at that level has a long history of atrocities towards humanity.
Yeah.
We just don't like to talk about it here.
Yeah, the crazy
But like
part.
that's our history is genocide,
Yeah.
Slavery.
Like we were built on rotten roots. You know, like pure capitalism is like what we used to have, and it's like, well, we can look at it empirically and be like, that's what that looks like. It has slavery. It has huge class disparity, where it's like, you know, you have a ruling class that's like very literate. You know, that's kind of like what India has. They're like the largest democracy in the world, but you basically have like, well, they run on a caste system on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's a compounding thing that like, you know, you have to deal with. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like you have like the poor, which is like the majority, and then like the and that's like the dividing line, right? Literacy. Like you're talking about like a giant population that can't even read. That's huge. Can you imagine like walking around life, like interacting with people and like not knowing what symbols on that you can see, like what the meaning of them are? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and as technology starts to take over our lives and give us advantages in the workplace and in society,
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, it's going to increase the divide between the social classes.
Because like the
I
whole
think
thing is like,
everywhere.
oh yeah, just teach truckers to code. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, you
stupid.
really gonna ask like a 40, 50-year-old dude who's been like
Yeah.
trucking his whole life to like pick up fucking Python? No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, it's not. The weird thing about the China thing, because I think tomorrow the
Yeah,
United
tomorrow
States
it's no more transactions. So if you don't delete it off your phone, if you
Right.
have it, you can still use it.
they're banning TikTok from the app stores, and you can no longer download it. So
So is the ban
Yeah,
like Apple and Google, etc., can't offer it on their app store, or
Yeah.
like you can't, like if you download it, there's some kind of legal
No,
repercussions?
no.
So they just can't
what
have
they
it.
did is they banned it through Department of Commerce, I think, where it's like they can't like, and a download is a transaction.
yeah.
Yeah,
Whether it
it's
was
a $0
whether
transaction.
there's money received or not. So just downloading it is like you can't make that transaction, so it just like won't be available.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've heard a lot of different sides to it. Apparently, so my brother is getting his master's in network security, and he was telling me that a couple of friends of his read some things about how the security and encryption and different things, the way things are stored on the app are one of the most unsecure ways in the for an app on the App Store right now. It's absolutely just terrible.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
There's a legitimate reason to get it to be sold to an American company or something of the
That has
likes,
those
or at
security
least have
centers.
some kind of control over
It's
the
so
way
interesting
they're
that it's
mining your
Oracle.
data. Yeah, Oracle.
Like
I
they're
thought the
they're
same
the
thing.
oldest like tech company in America,
Right.
damn near.
And
Yeah.
they like the two things that you could think of Oracle is like Oracle database
Yep.
and Java.
Yep.
And like besides that, they do a lot of tech consulting and stuff,
Yeah,
but those
yeah.
are like their main products.
They also
And-
do point of sale systems.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But they don't really do like mobile social media apps.
No.
It
At
doesn't
all,
matter.
really?
No,
Do they have
it's like
one?
B2B tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now they're just like, well, now we have. And you know what though? It's probably like, because if Oracle like isn't the parent company, you have to think about like it's probably like a private equities firm's like portfolio.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, if we can add TikTok and Oracle to the same one,
Yeah.
we're raking in money, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that could be another thing too, or it could have just been Oracle being like, well, fuck it, like let's get into this. It's clearly going to be the next Facebook.
I think somebody's dick got sucked, and that's why they're the
Yeah.
winners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I
That's the
don't
thing.
know.
I think it's like dubious. Like anything that's like going on right now, any deals, the fact that like, why the fuck is our federal government involved in this is
Yeah.
like beyond me.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's quit that bullshit real quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing is like like if you want to talk about like the characteristics of like fascism, it's like we're kind of there, getting there.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I could like pick up or pull up like a really well researched like list. There's like, because you have you know, people who like study this. As,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're so like
Sure.
they study like, you know, what we know as like fascist nations. So Russia was one. I think like India at some time, and like some places in like Southeast Asia, Italy, Germany, like Nazi Germany under Hitler.
What's the difference between fascism and authoritarian?
Authoritarianism.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's like
You
kind
know?
of like a tomato
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
I think like maybe if you look at it this way, you know, it's like authoritarianism is maybe the umbrella,
Mm.
and then fascism, and like, you know, like maybe like the Communist Party of China, for example. Like these are things that are considered authoritarian, but like they're not mutually the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I
So
would say.
so then going back to the comment about like we're kind of there at fascism. So you mean like a lot of the recent events?
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to think about it, like the past few presidencies is like why we have the president we have. Like
Mhm.
they created the monster. You know, that like you know, like they're the like all of these decisions that were made. You know, it's like you think about like the humanitarian crisis that we have going on right now with like, you know, immigrants being kept in like essentially cages. Well, those cages were like built during the Obama administration, but they were intended for criminals, like people that were going to be deported anyway. So they're not going to be held in there very long. But something that I learned recently is that ICE is a politically driven like arm of the executive branch. So what they do, like their policy changes based on who's in office. So
Sure.
like under Obama, it was like, you know, like there was a crackdown under his administration, but it was on like violent criminals and people with criminals, like you know, like a criminal history that he was, you know, like instructing, like using ICE for like that sort of thing. But like now it's almost like likened to like the SS or like the Gestapo, where the new directive under the current administration is everyone, not just people with criminal backgrounds, anybody.
Mhm.
So like
Who's here like illegally? Right.
even if they're like working, they like essentially pay taxes, you know, they get to go too. Or like they have to, so like then you have like families being split and stuff like that. So it's like these decisions have been made like several like administrations into the past, and like now we just have like really poor leadership like using it, that it is where it is right now. But yeah,
I mean, it's a combination of a few things. I mean, I think comparing it to the Gestapo is pretty hyperbolic, because they killed like 6 million people. But I do see your point. I think there's a lot of laws that get thrown out into legislation that are named like the Save Our Kids Act, and it's like disguised as a name to, in fact, like put kids separate kids from the families, for example. I'm not saying that's an actual law, but
what was it recently? I think it was in Georgia. I think that you had like a ICE like nurse like whistleblower, where they're basically doing like forced hysterectomies on.
I heard about that.
People are So they're like they launched like a full investigation like recently to like see like what the hell is going on. But I'm like, like that's it's like you don't just like become an institution that like hunts down and like kills people or like mutilates them. Like that happens over time.
Yeah.
So it's like the beginning.
Yeah, it's certainly, there's some warning signs. I think we're a long ways off from becoming a fascist nation.
And a cult personality too.
Yeah,
That's
cult
like,
of personality is that what you said?
Which is like, is like hilarious that people are like, oh, like we'll turn into Venezuela, if we, it's like, no, I was like, if anything, like it'll turn into that if we keep the current course, because like what you're doing, like voter suppression, all that sort of stuff, that's something that a dictator would actually do, and that's actually going on in like Venezuela.
Yeah, right. I think there has been a lot that just got said, so I don't know how to pick that apart.
So hold on, let me just state out the differences between totalitarianism,
Did you find,
authoritarian. So in a totalitarian, hopefully I said that right, state, the government's range of control over the people is virtually unlimited. So they control like the economy, politics, culture, society. They can decide whatever they want. While in an authoritarian government, it's held by a single dictator or group. The people are allowed to have a limited degree of political freedom. And then fascism combines the two of them. Yeah. And it says rarely employed since the end of World War II.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah. It says that even when compared to the extreme nationalistic ideologies of Marxism and anarchism, fascism is typically considered to be at the far right end of the political spectrum.
It is. Yeah.
I guess it's just like the most extreme of those type of governments you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Republicans have a cult of personality going on, and it's kind of shifted. Like
they kind of lost their morals. I miss that Republican Party.
Yeah. If
now it's just like, no, fuck you. We just care about money now.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like it was money and Jesus.
Well, there like I if you asked me a month ago like who was going, if I knew who was going to, or I could guess who was going to win the election, I was going to say Biden, because I knew Trump. His reaction to the coronavirus was taken in poor light by the American people, and he's not able to really rally a lot and go to these states and like hold conventions and talk to the people the way he was able to in the last election cycle, until the Portland protesting and all the protesting happening. Now I'm kind of thinking he might win again, because I think there's a lot of Republicans, and I see this with some friends and family, where they have been hyped, or I guess riled up by the media to think that if they don't vote somebody in who's has like a no tolerance bullshit like attitude towards that stuff, that we're going to become a country that's run by like Antifa. But they also think that everybody who's a Democrat is like in support of Antifa and stuff,
or is part of the
which
the organization of Antifa.
Categorically. So like number one, not actually an organization.
Right.
Yeah. Number two, categorically, if you don't support fascism, which like I think everybody except maybe like skinheads and like white supremacists like are not in favor of, you are categorically Antifa, because you are anti-fascist.
Right.
So like I guess I'm a terrorist.
Yeah. I think that's like what a lot of people group that together. But Antifa is like they're actually considered they're not exactly anti-fascist. I think that term has been like separated from anti-fascist, and now it's just like people who just want there to be like chaos.
Yeah, anarchists.
Yeah,
they're just anarchists. Yeah,
yeah,
essentially.
But like a lot of Republicans don't see that distinction. So
No.
now they're just thinking like, if you like, everyone is just like that.
But here's what's hilarious, right? Is that they run ads saying like this is going to be Biden's America, using footage of what's going on right now
In
Right.
Trump's America.
in Trump's America.
Yeah.
So if you vote him in again, you will get more of the same.
Yeah. This is what it looks like when you
This is
try
what-
to make America great again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
half the fucking country's burning down and everybody's running with Molotovs in their hands.
Which like
Sounds
I would
fun.
here's a controversial statement for you if you'd like to unpack this. When was America great?
Ooh. That sounds like a trap.
Trap question.
Not gonna
Because you
answer
won't
that.
be able to answer it because it really wasn't.
Yeah.
America is as good as it's ever been today, in my opinion.
Right, like right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Okay.
Statistically speaking,
Oh,
rapes
sure.
are down, violence is down.
Sure.
Well, violence right now, comparatively to last year, is up. I mean, I think I read something in the Denver Post that gang violence is up 100% since the defunding of some police or some reform of the police.
It's up 100% since like coronavirus.
Yeah, that's
Because
also,
it went down 100% and then it went back up.
Like when
it
you
went up by 1.
Yeah.
when you have when you remove some form of like power, another power group comes in to replace that, right?
Well, yeah, and if you don't have a plan, right? Because like
Yeah.
this idea of like defunding the police isn't like that radical. Like we have cities in America that don't have police departments as we know them.
Right, but those places also don't need those types of police departments because their populations are so low. There's like
Ooh,
police departments of
that
only
sounds
like
fun.
5 people.
Yeah. Or like it could be that there's a history of them like not just defunding the police where like right now there's a problem because like people just want that. And I think like what you just hit on is that like if you just do that, it's probably not good. But if you do it and you have a plan
Right.
for how to like replace that, it's like you might over time be able to make it a better way to like police or have a good society.
Well, okay, so let's talk really quick about like the function of a police department. Do they prevent crime? That's a yes or no answer.
Do they prevent crime?
Do they, or like are they supposed to? Is that what you mean? Like is that what they're?
I mean, are public schools actually supposed to prepare kids for like make the promise of private schools? No, they
Right.
don't. But yeah, I mean, I guess both. You know, like is that their intention, and do they?
I think the presence of police could prevent some crime.
I mean, so right, so like the whole like scarecrow tactic, where like if you just park like an empty cop car in a neighborhood, you know,
Yeah.
like, people would be less likely to do something like that. So the idea is that like they don't actually prevent crime; they show up after a crime is committed to handle it. The
sometimes.
aftermath of it, right? Sometimes, yeah.
Because I could have a guy upstairs right now that's holding us hostage, and I call the police
Right.
to come save us.
It
Sure.
prevents a murder.
Prevents
Prevents a
yeah.
murder, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're talking about extreme cases.
In most
Yeah.
instances, yeah, they're not there to prevent.
Mhm.
They're I guess.
So, but then if you pack that further, it's like,
Right.
so then like, why are these people committing crimes? You're talking about like lack of education, lack of resources, lack
Yeah.
of like mental health,
Or
help.
out of necessity.
Just
People
like
have
necessities that they don't have.
Right.
So they have to resort
It all
to.
comes down to Jeff Bezos having billions of dollars. and-
Yeah, and we need to eat them.
Or
Everyone gets 10 grand.
Human tendency to want to accumulate wealth, like
Yeah.
when you talk about gangs, like
Sure.
or the mafia, like
Right.
it's something that people get into to generate wealth very quickly without having to actually work hard to do it. I mean, I'm not saying
Right.
being a gang member.
Yeah,
is,
and that's like the reason why gangs start is because they are either like from marginalized communities that like don't feel that the police or whatever, that like authority figures protect them in any meaningful way. So it's like we need our own.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
happened when like Italians came over.
Exactly.
That's how the mafia started. And then once you get a taste for money, then that's kind of like the downward trend of like any downward fall of like something that started out with good intentions gets poisoned by money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like the whole topic of even defunding the police is like super complex, because it's not just like, let's just remove policemen. You need detectives. Like, you need people to actually solve like and help deal with violent, crimes being committed, because that's not just going to go away.
Yeah.
But if you can invest into the community with actual like resources that would prevent them from even entering that lifestyle to begin with, that's actual prevention of crime.
Yeah, it is, and I think that we need a lot of that.
Considering, and the other thing that's problematic too is that like in some places, like even like Buffalo, I think it's like if it wasn't Buffalo, it was somewhere in New York,
probably Buffalo. Where
like they have millions of dollars in their
maybe
budget,
not Buffalo.
Right? Yeah, I mean it could have been, where a sizable portion, where it's like a couple million, is spent in misconduct suits. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is it that like the training's bad?
Yeah.
Why
is it, or like remember at the beginning of our discussion here we talked about like, if you have a gun and someone attacks you and you shoot them and you kill them, you're probably going to get sued, right? Yeah. So like, does it come with the territory, or is it actually that many people who are just doing bad things, or lack of training,
right?
Which could be it.
Well, and their training, people. Like if you've ever like seen videos of that stuff, it's like kind of scary. It's sort of like the mentality that I see is like so you have like some private police forces, like in certain places, like when Detroit was really bad, you had like small private police of just like, it was like one guy, I remember I watched like a mini doc on him, and it was just like, it was just me, my pickup, and my dog, and my shotgun. He was like, but we eventually like grew up to like a big organization. He was like, and I can tell you that like we've never had anyone die under our care. And they actually do what I would think like policemen, like the police force, like should be used as. It's like if you have like a like a stalker or something like that, like we'll watch your house, like we'll take your kids to school for you, and that it's all nonviolent, because it's like their whole thing is like, there are like 100 ways to solve a situation, but like the last one should be a gun. Because if you can de-escalate, because that's what they teach you in like my CCW class, is like pulling out that gun is the very last thing you should do. Like the first thing that you should do is like try and de-escalate like whatever this potentially violent situation is going to be.
Well, they teach you when you go into training to be a police officer that you only shoot to kill.
Yeah.
You're not shooting to maim people. I don't know if
they teach you. They even teach you that too.
What?
No, in the CCW they teach you that too. Like you're not shooting them to injure them.
Yeah, you shoot to kill. Yeah. And I don't necessarily agree that the last thing that you should do is pull out your gun. I do think, because the first thing that if somebody has that if you're a police officer and you pull over a guy and he has a gun, the first thing that the bad guy, I'll call him, could do is pull out a gun.
Right.
And then if the last thing that police officer is doing is pulling out a gun, that police officer is fucking toast.
Well, I'm talking about like in like those types of situations. Yeah. Obviously, you're going to use a gun because like that's a clear, I need to defend myself or I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like a lot of these situations where it's like lethal force was like not only not needed, but like what the like why the hell was this, like it could have been just like talked out, like didn't need to get physical.
Yeah, I think there's a systemic problem with racism. I think there's a systemic problem with not training our police officers enough.
Well, and also like the legacy too.
Yeah,
like what police were invented as were slave catchers.
Yeah.
Like that's where that root comes from.
In some cases, but not like all of
I
the
totally
world.
Agree with that.
I mean that's like the root of the organization.
US, because there's police all over the world.
Oh, of course. No. I'm talking about like in America.
Yeah, but like having
the concept of police isn't
right. So like
for slave catching, obviously.
Right. So like they would have had it anyway in a society.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So like it didn't come from slave, like that concept.
No.
But I can see there's probably roots in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Specifically in America. Right. Yeah. I wasn't talking about like globally.
To normalize society and to keep order.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say is I think we need to do what you were saying, which is like fund programs to essentially make poor neighborhoods
The money's there.
more educated.
Yeah.
We also need to pump money into solving some of the mental health crises that we're seeing. I mean, there's a lot of things happening in terms of like the protests. A lot of the people that get arrested, they have a lot of issues mentally. And I think adding programs, because like in the Reagan administration, a lot of those programs got defunded.
Yep.
A lot of the programs that were funding mental asylums in the United States suddenly didn't have any funding, so they all had to close. Not all of them, but a large portion of them under the Reagan administration had to close down, forcing all these people onto our streets.
Yep.
So solving that problem could also tackle not only the crime in these neighborhoods, but tackle homelessness problems, because a large population of our homelessness have mental issues that they literally can't get any care for because they're not insured. They can't keep a job because of the illness, and so they go out and they steal to feed themselves, to keep themselves warm, and then that just generates crime, and it's a kind of like a ripple effect.
Yeah. And then some additional training, forceful training for police officers. We know that like if you're approached by a police officer, you should probably like maybe just be calm, like talk to them. They'll probably treat us well. But if you're someone who's coming from a marginalized community where like you're probably a little more nervous, maybe you don't know if you like run from a cop, he could shoot you.
Right.
Like not everyone's as well educated as other people. So sometimes I think it would be good to teach police officers to put yourselves in that person's shoes. And like if someone does run from you, it's not the worst thing in the world. It sucks maybe someone's getting away, but
yeah. And the other thing too, though, is that where I think like a lot of people are like conflating these two things together is that like criminal history, like regardless, does not mean that a police officer is judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
People who commit crimes, that doesn't mean you
you're
have
innocent,
the right to die
you're innocent
immediately.
until proven guilty, right?
Yeah, that's our system. So
Yeah,
like that's a direct like violation of how our judicial system works. And I don't mean to like point towards like racial examples, but it's like these people who, like George Floyd, for example, was like essentially killed over a $20 counterfeit bill.
It's so fucking stupid.
Meanwhile, you have, just like, then they just happen to be white, but like these dudes that like do mass shootings, and they don't kill them. They like fucking just put them in handcuffs, take them to jail, calmly put them through a proceeding, and they get a due process. And obviously they're found guilty and put away forever. But then you're just talking about like people for essentially like no reason by comparison, just getting like executed.
Yeah, I mean, large history of the United States, going back to right after slavery was abolished. I mean, there were police forces and different laws put into place to make sure you kept black people out of certain neighborhoods, make sure they didn't get certain jobs. I mean, it's a systemic problem that has gotten a lot better over the years, but we're still seeing a really terrible problem in some of these departments where bad cops are getting slapped on the wrist and being put back
Police
on the force
unions.
after they do something heinous, and
or going to another force.
Quitting.
Well, that's what they
going
do,
to
like
another
Buffalo?
force. Yeah, it's terrible.
So I don't know if you saw that story where it was like and he was a vet too. He was just like trying to ask him a question, and like the cop just like shoved him on the floor and like immediately started bleeding out of his head because he like hit his head on the concrete.
I saw that.
And they all just like just keep moving up and like don't attend to him or anything.
Right.
So I don't remember if it was like the entire police force or like so many cops. It was like a lot. Resigned because they felt it was unfair that they were held accountable.
Yeah, there's
And
this.
you know who hired them? A police department in Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really?
All of them.
Nice.
There's this, just like the military, there's a brotherhood aspect to the police force, and that can be said for so many things. I mean, yeah, and it has some malicious consequences because of it, like people getting away with certain things, and your buddy, your partner's not ratting you out because of the brotherhood. I mean,
and that happens everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
in your company,
any
your own
level.
job. Yeah, exactly.
It sucks. It's just a thing.
It's a human thing. It's a human need to have some kind of camaraderie. A unity, a tribe. That extends back from ancient humans to be wanting to be in tribes and travel in tribes.
Genetics.
Yeah. We have a human problem. We have a systemic human problem.
Well, because we actually, like, as a species rate, and I think it's so funny that we like came up with this scale and like can measure ourselves against it, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't actually rate really high on it, like an altruism scale. So we're actually like not a very altruistic species.
Oh yeah.
Or like I think like number one is like the termite. Because because you have animals that will like sacrifice themselves, like for the greater good of like the colony or like the pack or something like that.
Ants are like that. Like we still
humans,
don't understand fully how a mass horde of ants how they communicate to each other. It's like they're like a limb to like a body. It's crazy how because
they don't actually like know where they are.
Yeah.
They like that's why ants like follow each other in trails, and if you see one that's like by itself, it's like lost forever because they only measure their environment in other ants. So like if an ant is missing, it's like it's like what am I supposed to do here?
It sounds so like silly, but ants are fucking fascinating.
Yeah,
like if you read into it, like I heard
all those little animals.
Somebody was talking about like if you took a group of ants from one like mound, I'll call it, and then a group from another mound, and you put them together, they immediately start killing each other.
Have you guys seen that?
Immediately go to war.
It's like a virus.
Yes,
like
they're of the same like ant species.
Oh wow! So they just know that you're not from my
colony, so you must be an invader. So they just fucking go at it.
Isn't it? It's that video. I think it's ants where like the one ant is like carrying the other one. And he gets to the edge of like a table and he just throws them off the side. He's like,
just he eats them off the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I think humans are kind of similar to that, right? Like if you're in a tribe, like now we don't really have, I mean, there's not that many tribes, but when there was, like you'd probably protect your tribe no matter what.
Yeah.
And then just kill the one next to you because like they could just be the enemy.
Right.
You don't care about them.
Well, the media certainly has taken advantage of that whole tribe thing.
Well, that and like you also have
it's called racism.
Russian like botnets too.
Yeah.
That it's not even about like spreading misinformation. It's just about making us mad at each other.
Yeah. It's
just like retweeting like inflammatory shit just to like stir the pot in the Instagram feed.
You'll see it sometimes. Like,
you're like that's a bot.
You're looking through comments and you're just like, no normal person would say something like that unless they're just trying to start something.
Yeah.
Most people just want to wake up, go get in their fucking shitty car, go to their shitty job, come home, watch a shitty show on Netflix, and fall asleep and do the exact same thing again. Nobody really fucking cares that much.
I like to go hiking, but
it's so silly. I hear these people, some people I know, and they're so riled up about what's going on, and they think, and it's this tribal thing, and I'm like, well, where are you getting your information from? Oh, Fox News, oh, CNN, oh, the Times. I'm like, their job is to
make
get
you
upset at the other side, so you pay attention more, and you go out and vote to get the other party removed from office. It's, which is a dirty trick.
But like
you should definitely like stay informed in politics and stuff, but like not with these crazy news outlets.
Like I like BBC World. They're pretty. They have a good track record. AP News.
There's a
really
ton
good.
of independent,
Associated Press.
great reporters and journalists just doing their own thing.
But that's not what's on TV and like what the major consumption is. So it's like you can get facts.
And it's super boring too.
And maybe now more than normal. Like you other than like maybe what's going on with like the protests and like how they're reporting it. But if what you're hearing on CNN is like also lining up with like factual news and stuff like that, it's like that's not an indication to be upset about. Like, oh no, the Democrats.
Have you guys actually seen like any of the rioting like as it's happening?
No, I mean we went to a protest and marched with people.
Yeah.
It didn't get violent because we also like left before the sun went down.
Yeah. So I was just wondering,
yeah.
because like the news has a tendency to like exaggerate things, like with hurricanes, looting, whatever it is. I've just wondered, like a lot of times something like that, it's like a block or a building is destroyed or something, and then it's like the world,
the
is
whole
ending.
city, is on fire.
So I've wondered what it's actually like.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you do have like a lot of places like in downtown Denver that are just like boarded out.
Yeah.
That are like on Broadway and stuff like that.
Capitol was trashed pretty hard. I think it was like a couple million in damages that we're gonna have to pay for.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It's because the government has to have nice things.
Yeah. Why the fuck
so when you
have
break something, it's like $100,000.
Yeah.
All we need is a wooden box on a tall hill.
Well, that's
somebody
what I
that
mean.
stands
it's like,
on it and talks to the people.
Yeah, like government infrastructure like doesn't have to be that fancy.
Does anyone actually work in the Capitol right now? Like, is it open?
No.
I have no
like
idea.
that actually like go in.
Like because of coronavirus.
I don't know.
Yeah, so they should just
so.
like shut it down.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay for it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like I get it. It's like the what did MLK say? He said the rioting is the language of the unheard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the reason why we're rioting, right, is because you're not listening. Like you keep telling us like do it peacefully. It's like, all right, so we'll take a knee.
Yeah.
Some people
do it peacefully. And right, but it's like, but the thing is though is that like people who are actually there to start shit aren't for what protesters are there for. They're different people.
Oh shit, we fucking shit up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
Because no protests that I've seen like actually organized like by these organizations, like they explicitly say like this is nonviolent. Like we're not gonna tolerate anything like that. And like you'll see like lots of footage. It's like you don't see it on the news, but you can find it on Reddit and Instagram pretty easily, where you have like protesters like helping policemen like apprehend rioters because it's like you're poisoning what this is.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do this right.
Or asking people to stop destroying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like please stop. It's like no. It's like well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sucks because and I feel for Portland because there's a lot of great people there, and now their city is going to be set back economically for decades.
Yeah.
There's a strong correlation between with the Rodney King riots, that area was impoverished for decades. I mean, it took a long time to come back.
Oh wow.
You have, I mean, think about it. If you're a company and you wanted to invest in Portland or open a bit, you don't want to do that anymore.
No, not
you're
now.
Gonna go, no,
definitely.
You're
not
gonna
now.
go somewhere else like Denver or
Yeah.
So that area is going to take a very long time to come back to the way it was just a few short. I guess last year, just before the pandemic. It sucks.
Yeah.
And people in Portland want their voice heard, and some people in Portland are just fucking assholes.
Yep.
And like I think it goes back to what we're talking about. It's a human issue. It's a human condition. It's we're all really fucked up in so many different ways.
Yeah. Some people are just bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bored.
Yeah. It's a terrible
Well,
combination.
it's kind of like sociopath. It's like it's like I think about it. It's like you think about like what was running through their head. They were just like they just got up, had some coffee, ate some cereal, and they're like, I'm gonna kill someone today.
Yeah.
You know what? It feels right. I'm just gonna go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my GoPro saying we've talked for way too long.
Oh.
So maybe that's a good segue into ending this thing. Is there anything else you want to say to the good people of the world?
Not really, but
You're not gonna say something like "Go vote."
yeah, I mean, do that.
Yeah.
Make sure you're registered.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hopefully
just fucking do it, because like the last election was us not doing it.
Yeah.
Like what they'd like you to look at is like, oh, it was split, and like then you have this little sliver that voted for the third party. I'm like, no, really, like 30% of the voting population decided who got to be president, and then like 40% of the entire country didn't vote.
Yeah.
At all. So it's like
didn't Hillary win the popular vote?
I mean, that's not the first time that's happened.
The
That's happened with
30%
every
of
president.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look. I don't know if there's like an aggregate of it, but like if you look county to county, you can see what percentage of people in the county actually voted.
Yeah, and then that's
who
the
are
problem.
registered.
Is like you have that like all or nothing system that we have, where if like we had like ranked choice voting,
Yeah.
it'd be so much better. Then you're not throwing an election anymore.
Yeah.
You just like you pick like this is my number 1 choice, this is my number 5 choice,
Yeah.
and then that's your ballot.
The
And
other
then-
thing is that's important is like you're not just voting for president, so it's
Well-
also very important to vote on other things.
Yeah,
Yes. There's a lot of
because
things that's going to be
Ruth
on the
is
ballot.
dead.
Yeah, there's that. too.
And that was kind of like, now you see like a giant spike in like donations to the Democratic Party because like, oh shit, now it's real.
Yeah, was there?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
That's what
within
I
like
figured.
over the night they're like, oh no. It's like we lost the last good one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
what a devastating blow to
Yeah, it's
the
like
Supreme
let's just put it in
Court.
perspective. They're both alleged rapists, so there's gonna be harm dealt in either administration. It's not about whether you like the guy. It's just like
Yeah.
it's damage mitigation at this point.
Yeah.
It's
it
like-
really is.
It's chemo versus smoking more cigarettes. We're past the surgery. Like we're way past surgery.
Yeah.
I don't care for assholes.
Yeah.
That's all I'll put it as. And I'm not
Yeah,
a
don't do
big
it.
fan of assholes.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, thanks so much for being on. I can't wait to get
Yeah,
you back on
absolutely,
and continue
anytime.
some of these. Like we talked about so much without talking about much at all.
Yeah.
And so next time we'll have to dive deep. Maybe choose.
Oh
one
yeah,
of
yeah.
these
If you want to
things
like pick one
go.
and be like, all right, stop.
Yeah.
Let's go this way. Let's go down this way of the maze.
Yeah. Next time it will be abortion. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
there we go.
exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks everybody. Catch you next time. Adios.
Peace out.